doing this fisting thing. I'm sorry, fasting.
Oh my God.
Fasting.
Well, the first one I knew about.
Oh, that woke
that's
you
right.
up.
Yeah, I've been doing that a long time. No, so I'm doing this fasting thing, this 18-hour fast, and I did it yesterday, and there's some ups and downs with it, but I think the ups outdo the downs. But the thing is, you got to have. The doctor told me to add coffee because I don't really drink coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought no problem because I can't eat it, and I'm getting my blood drawn today. So she's like, I need to fast. Well, I'm doing that 18-hour fast, so I'll just have coffee in the morning. So what do you do when you go by Dutch Brothers or you go by Starbucks, right? Remember a couple of years ago, I was going to Starbucks every single morning before I come in.
Mm-hmm.
They open at 3:30. I'd get in line, and there'd be a line at 3:30. Mm-hmm. So Lord and behold, Starbucks does not open at 3:30 anymore.
When do they open?
I get there at 4:15. I see people working. Go through drive-through. I sit at the thing where you order. Hello. Nothing. I pull up to where you get your food. Nothing. They're walking around. They don't even acknowledge me, right? And so I Google Starbucks when they open. They open at 4:30. Like, what a rip. Oh. What a rip. So I come here and I sit there in that weird machine, try to figure out how to make coffee.
Coffee machine?
No, it's not. It's a weird machine.
It's different.
It's not that
I don't
hard.
know. I've never made it in there. I don't know.
That's what I mean. It's a weird machine. Like you would think. So I thought maybe a coffee pot like at Denny's.
Yeah.
Like that's
sure,
it. But
or like Keurig.
Yeah, but I forget that it's a thing. It's got these weird little pockets, and you got to stick this thing in, and you got to hit a button, and then it's pretty simple. But it's not your normal coffee machine at work.
Did you get some coffee?
I did, and I don't like it.
How?
I don't like
I
it.
said, it took me 20 minutes.
So
I could have gone back to
Why don't you
Starbucks.
just ask somebody? I can help you
Because
make
I was
coffee in there.
walking. You were already in here, and I was walking towards here. I don't want to come here and go back.
I was sanitizing the studio, but I have many questions about the fasting. So it's 18 hours in the coffee, straight black coffee, or is it the bulletproof where you're supposed to put butter and oil and all that stuff in it? Do you know?
It's just straight coffee. I didn't ask that
No
because
creamer?
I'm not. No.
Well, that's probably why you didn't like it.
Do you know that's how Jimmy Kimmel lost all his weight? He's still doing intermittent fasting, and that's how Rob Lowe looks so shredded.
Old Rab.
Did I say Rab?
Oh, Rab Lowe. Oh, hey, Rabby.
There's my Midwest coming out
It's
again.
a tough room, man.
So I got to tell you something else. So you know how I think with COVID right now and all the lockdowns, we're fortunate to live where we live in in the part of the country because where my sister lives in L.A., you can't go to a restaurant. It's shut down. Everywhere you walk, you can't wear a mask.
Yeah, Rab Lowe can't go to a restaurant.
Rab Lowe, no matter how famous he is, can't go into a restaurant. But where we live, there are restaurants that are still open. I don't know how long that's going to last, but fortunately, we go to restaurants every once in a while. And my wife says to me last night, my neighbor is having a party, and they're doing it at a restaurant on Saturday night. It's a birthday party, and she says, we got invited. Can we go? And I'm already an introvert. I don't want to go to a party, whether there's COVID or no COVID, right? And I say, during a pandemic, it's a pandemic, Blake. Yeah, but we still do things. And I'm like, I know, but I don't really want to go. I'll go, what if you go? Do I have to go? No, we're in bed. It's dark in bed, right? I'm like, can't you go? And I could already tell. My wife has this thing sometimes where, I don't want to say she's unreasonable, but I could tell she's going to get irritated or she's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't, do I have to go? Can you go to the party? I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm going to put myself at risk, I want to do it at something that, where I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I could tell that so it's this weird, so now I'm sitting there thinking.
She wants you to go with her.
I know she does, but also I don't know these people. Why do I have to put myself at risk with all these people? I mean, you're not having a reception.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put people at risk.
But are you really worried about or you just don't want to go to the party?
Right.
Yeah,
It's
you're
both.
Really,
It's both.
But she's looking at you don't want to go to the party.
I don't want to
You
if I
don't
go
want to go to the party.
I don't want to go to the party, but at the same time, if it was you guys having a party, I'd go to your party because I don't mind being around you guys.
We would not do that during a pandemic, though.
Right. So
We wouldn't have the audacity to invite you to a party.
I don't know if my point is coming across. So it's this weird, I will go somewhere if I will put myself at risk if it's somewhere I want to go.
And if she's excited to go, then go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sitting here going, man, and just selfish reasons, I hope they lock down the state before Saturday. So I hope that whatever happens with Biden, that he can somehow shut down restaurants before tomorrow night so that I don't have to go to the
restaurant
party.
owner right now is going, can you please stop?
I know. I'm just hoping. I'm like, come on, man, what's up? Why are we restaurants open right now?
What if
That's
they're
so
open?
irresponsible.
What if they're open, but they're like no birthday parties over 3 people?
Like that.
Then you're good.
So irresponsible that we
While
have
your
the,
favorite restaurant closes, hey, why are you closed?
everything should be to go for the weekend. Weekend should be just to go only. That's it. Anyway, I found something kind of cool yesterday. Years ago, when my father passed away, he's from the Netherlands, and he spoke many different languages, and he wrote in journals, and he wrote in his journals, he wrote in Dutch, right, which is the language for Holland, for the Netherlands. And my sister and I, my sister especially, not me, she was like, I want to know what's in these journals. We've got to get them translated. And she was, up and coming, or she was already established in the reality TV show. This is 2007. So she found a guy on her staff. I forget what show she was working on at the time. She was working on a few reality shows. She found a guy on her staff that spoke Dutch, and he translated all my dad's journals for her.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. So yesterday I watched on Netflix, it's one of the top shows on Netflix, Bling Empire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 4 episodes in.
I'm like
Bling.
on episode 6.
Oh, yeah, I'm in. So I just called her and I said, do you have anything to do with this show? Because all reality shows that are out now, she knows everybody involved. I said, what do you know about Bling Empire? And the guy that translated all the journals for my dad, that's his show. He created the show. He directed the show. He did everything on that show.
So cool.
I know. And now
How
I'm
much
like,
do you love Kane?
I love Kane.
I love Kane.
I told her, she starts to go, well, there's this one, the guy with the high cheekbones? I'm like, Kane?
Yeah.
That's the younger guy, right?
He's like the billionaire.
He's the billionaire.
The guy in the first episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the first guy.
He's fun.
And then I'm telling her about Kev. And I'm Baby G, and I'm all about,
Baby G.
and the one, and I started telling her about this one girl, the girl married to the doctor,
Christine.
Yeah, and how they're gonna have. I go, and I'm at the part. Here's actually, I think I'm in episode 3. I'm at the part where they're talking about he wants to have another baby, and they got these frozen embryos, right? Which my wife and I totally relate to. And then he's like, well, I want a daughter, and she's like, I don't want one. And then the teaser is, some stuff has happened. And some stuff has happened in the past, and they go into episode 4, 3, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta see what happens. So I'm telling my sister this, and she's like, well, I follow Christine on Instagram, and so far she does not have a baby. And I'm like, spoiler
You
No,
get
she
results
got
to
you.
that like in the next episode.
about the history.
Yeah, the history and their decision.
Oh, they
And
must
why
not
they
have.
make
They
the
must not have had that.
decision.
They must not, because like they must have shot the show a year ago because there's no masks or no mention of COVID yet. But it's like my sister totally told me there's no baby because she followed, and I'm like, why out of all the people you followed her on Instagram? And she goes, I just think she's so beautiful. And I'm like, here's my sister who's in reality, the reality business, totally in on this one lady. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it's so funny because she's sitting there and her husband's a doctor, and she's getting her makeup and hair done, and her husband comes in to sit down to talk to her about having another baby, and she's like, "Did you bring the Botox?" He's like,
Yeah.
"I just injected you like a month ago."
yeah.
Oh my God, that
Does he
life!
do it himself?
That's crazy.
It's so. What about the?
Well, that's like what he does. He's a doctor. So-
What about the Red Power Ranger guy,
Yeah,
Andrew?
he's obnoxious.
Yeah, it's such a weird show, but such a good show.
It's weird, but you're
you
like
watching it
drawn
too?
in. I watched the first episode. I don't know
Oh.
about continuing.
I'm
No,
all
you
in.
know what? I feel like the first and second episode, I was like, I feel like maybe I could watch this every once in a while. But then when I got like third, fourth, fifth episode, I'm like, I can't stop watching.
Oh, it hooks you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know more about Anna.
Yeah, Anna's a
She's a
serious.
gazillionaire.
Is it the
Russian.
Russian one?
Yeah,
Okay.
She's Russian. That's her deal.
part Russian.
Okay, I'm trying
and
to
then Korean, I think.
Yeah, but then she started talking Spanish in
I
the first
know.
episode, and I was like, did they say Mexican? And then
Her best friend.
her best
Her
friend.
best friend
Oh,
speaks
okay.
Spanish. She's from, yeah, and then there's the doctor guy who is the son of who be the emperor of China. And I'm like, what the hell? And my sister said, like, you've got the Real Housewives that were like rich. She's like, you don't understand how rich these, like, the people that they're letting you know how rich they are on the show. They're so much more rich than that. Like, it's like a level we can't understand.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
that's crazy.
Right. So that's called Bling Empire on Netflix.